Today I thought I would show you how I draw little sketches in Biro. So these are little portrait sketches. Each one takes about 3 to 5 minutes depending on the length of a song. So these sketches are from a group called Drawing is Free, who every Monday at 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. if you're in the UK have a session, a Zoom session where you log in for free, and there's often hundreds of people on the call from around the world, and we're on there. Somebody poses for the duration of a song, and then once the song's done, you've got no more time. So that's why all of these sketches are very small. I love drawing with Biro because you can get dark straight away, and it's instantly more powerful on the page as opposed to pencil. And I think when you've got pencil, it's very tempting to keep trying to rub it out, and then you spend the entire session rubbing things out rather than actually drawing. You can go very lightly with your Biro. You don't have to go with a really firm, deep sort of concentrated line straight away. So practice getting thin little sketchy lines, and then when you know that that's the right line, you can go over with a darker line. It doesn't matter straight away if you haven't got the right line. Loads of times here I haven't quite got the right line, and then I find that line later, and it's just a sketch. So just about practicing getting the angles right. When I was looking at this back, I don't tend to start always in the same spot. So it's not like I always go for the eyes. I don't always go for the hair first. I don't always map it out. And I think it depends on the pose. So where there's things like a side profile, I might start off with the side profile and look at the sort of the negative shape on the other side of it. So not just drawing the face, but drawing the shape that the face leaves behind, if you see what I mean. Where there's little sketches like this one from a side profile, really quite difficult to get that right. So I might start off with the eyes first and getting the angle right. When there's glasses, I think I always start off with the glasses because they add a great structure to your face, and you know straight away it helps you plan everything else. You can, once you've got the glasses in the right format and the right shape, you know where to put the eyes, where to put the nose. The nose is often a lot closer to the bottom of the glasses than you think. With things like the noses are hard to work out, so it is really helpful to have the glasses there as a bit of a base, because from the glasses you can work out where the nostrils are, how wide the nose should be. A little bit of shading on the nose always does the trick to make things look a little bit narrower, but noses generally are a lot shorter than we think. Now this pose, she was looking up at a bit of an angle, and it's a really hard pose, really great one for practicing. So I started off trying to get the eyes right and the nose and just sort of the curve of the mouth, and I was looking at the side of her face as well to try and get that right. So every time I draw a line, I'm not just looking at drawing sort of the line, the content of the line, but what's left on the other side. So looking at the sort of the silhouette of that line. And you can do shading with little lines. You can differentiate one set of lines from another just by using a different stroke. So rather than going up and down, you can go left and right. Sometimes you can do the background like this. This was a longer song, so we had 5 minutes for this one as opposed to something like three or 4 minutes. So I went bigger, and yeah, for this one, if it's just a general pose, and I generally start off with the eyes. I think if someone is looking pretty much, straight, if it's not a hard pose, by hard pose I mean like completely side profile or looking up or looking down at a difficult angle. So you get used to drawing things in a particular way. So if you're drawing someone straight on, generally there's an eye width in between, where the nose generally is. So it's easier when you've got those poses, which is why these sessions are great, because you've got people posing from different angles everywhere. It was quite a difficult one, this one, because the light was shining on the left-hand side of the face, and there wasn't much shading at all there. Quite like this little pose, where you've got things like glasses and this sort of side profile. Often one of the eyes is completely, or at least half, cut off by the nose, and a lot of people tend to make the mistake of wanting to draw the entire eye in, and they miss the fact that it's got, it's cut off a little bit. So be careful if you're drawing little sketches like that. I tend to, if this is a sort of uniform area, then I might sketch just by doing some straight lines, but you can use a little scribbly effect, works really well as well. This was another hard one where she was looking up and it was sort of foreshortened. A foreshortening is where if someone is looking up or looking down, they've got the camera sort of unevenly facing the face. So in this case, it was looking up at her. So she's going to have a larger chin and bottom of her face than anything else. Then it becomes really important to look at specific angles and shapes rather than drawing what you think you see. So really try and think, if you're doing a nostril, what is vertical from the nostril, what is horizontal from the nostril. Maybe there's a bit of ear there, so you can imagine a little grid. And that's one of the, if you're doing larger portraits, you can grid up your portraits into little squares, and you can enlarge it that way by doing larger squares on your piece of paper, and then all you're doing is copying what's in the square. But you don't have time for this little exercise of doing the Zoom calls. Really hones your observation skills. So you really have to look like what's above this nostril. If I went vertically up, is there a pupil there? Is there the Cupid's bow there? So just keep looking at angles and shapes. And what did I do here? I started, this guy had a great characterful face, reminded me of Donald Sutherland. And you're looking, a lot of people make mistakes with the eyebrows. They often go very arched with the eyebrows because I think that's what we think that eyebrows look like. They're just arched, but this guy had quite straight eyebrows and then they curved around at the side. Have a think about the distance between the top of the eye and the eyebrow. Look at the shape that the gap between the eyebrow and the eye makes. When someone's got white hair, like he had a white beard, so I've just didn't have time to make any details there. But in terms of tone and value, his chin area was a little bit darker, like just immediately under his mouth. This is another tricky angle. I didn't quite get this one right. So sometimes it might help you to draw the angle of the face entirely. And I think where I went wrong with this one, I ended up straightening her out rather than keeping the angle. So I think I picked up on it later and then tried to move her chin a bit. But and where I've just gone over into the background, that's to try and hide a mistake. So if you don't have a rubber, just try and incorporate it into the face. This was really hard. She was in sunlight on the left hand side, really like very powerful sunlight. You couldn't see anything, and the rest of her was in a lot of shade. So it's just a great drawing exercise. I really encourage you to give it a go. Try with pen, because I think it helps train you to stop rubbing things out all the time, and it's just absolutely great practice. If you do give it a go and you'd like some feedback from me and other supportive creatives like myself, then join Sue Cooper's Art Club on Facebook, post your work, and we'll go from there. Happy drawing!